Hello everybody, my name is Chris Matos and I'm doing a presentation on using C# in Unity. Okay, well first off, what is Unity? Unity came out in 2005 and it was developed by Unity Technology. It's a cross-platform game engine and it was released, I believe, at the Worldwide Developers Conference for Apple. It's used to develop all kinds of games, PC games, console games, and mobile games. It's a game engine, which I don't know if any of you are familiar with the game engine, but basically it handles all of like the rendering 2D and 3D for a game, and it's got a physics engine, most of them do, and it has basically it's got a physics engine, and it also has collision detection, which helps making these games a lot easier when you have all these things integrated into one. And Unity has a dedicated API for C#, JavaScript, and also Groove. So why C#? Well, first off, C# is a well-known and widely used and documented programming language. And if any of you, obviously we all programmed in C#, and if we ran into some problems, what was the first thing we did? We went to Google, tried to find out what was going on, and usually most of us came up with an answer in a minute or two, because a lot of people use C# and all these problems are well documented and ready for you to solve at a moment's notice. And that's same with C# and Unity. There's plenty of forums, plenty of people there to help you out if you're struggling with C# and Unity. It's strictly typed, means most errors are going to be caught right away. It's really important for games, especially when you introduce all these classes and stuff. You want to know what you're working with and what every type is, because otherwise you'll get extremely confused very fast. So the other option is JavaScript. It's not a knock on JavaScript. It's just I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know too much about it, but especially in Unity, it's not JavaScript exactly. It's called Unity Script, and it's like JavaScript, but it's different. I've talked to people that use JavaScript, and they'll look at that code and be like, "That's not JavaScript." There's some subtle differences that I'm not going to get into right now, but use C#. It's much better for Unity, trust me. Okay, so I'm gonna get into some really quick Unity specific classes that everyone should know if you're gonna use Unity before I get into the demo. First is game object, and that holds all the properties of a game object. So when you place a game object into a world and you need to reference it through script, this game object class is going to have all the things you need to know about. It's going to need to know the color, where it is in the world. It's kind of got all the methods and stuff that you could ever need to use while scripting. So it's a game object class you're going to use all the time if you're programming Unity. There's transform, which, like a game object, they're related, so I should have put them together. But basically, it's like all the properties of a game object, but only like location specific, I guess is the best way to put it. It's got its position in the world, it's got its rotation, it's got its like scale and how big it is. So if you want a game object, but you only want to know things about like where it's facing, where it is, then you would use a transform. And then there's other properties to it too, but those are the main ones. Input, which I'll explain in the demo a little bit. Basically, it's things that you define in the Unity editor as input. Like I want an input to be called a shoot bad guy, and when you do that, you press R. You can specify all those things and then reference them through that class. Vector 3s and vector 2s are locations. Vector 3 is X, Y, and Z, and it's got the X coordinate, Y coordinate, Z coordinate in a 3D world. In a 2D world, obviously it's just X and Y. The quaternion, I think I spelled that right. I should have spelled check. But basically, it's like the rotation. So there's a X, Y, Z, and X, Y, Z, and W, which I'm not going to get into too much in right now. So without further ado, I'll get into Unity demo. Yay! You guys had Chris do an awesome demo. Okay, so let's switch over to Unity. And this is the Unity editor right here. You have your world view right here, which, yes, I didn't do the right folder, and I apologize. For 1 second while this boots up. Basically, you have the world right here, which is right here. I can look around the world. There's not much to the world right now because I haven't loaded the scene. And okay, so we're gonna demo with a little game here. It's called Volleyball, and it's a very simple game. You control this ball, and you have to collect all these little cubes. And when you do, you win. So yeah, you're gonna use the mouse to control the ball, and we're also gonna have a score that keeps track of the score, so the user can see quickly as they're playing what score they have. So here, like I said, is the world view. This is the hierarchy right here. So this has all the game objects listed. It's got a light so you can see everything. It's got all the walls, all these pickups for individual game objects, and then it's got the canvas, which is all the user interface, which you'll see when I play the game. So I want to show you some scripts, so you can kind of see how all this stuff works. I don't know if I should show you the game and then the scripts, but let's say you wanted to have a game where there's a very simple thing of forward and back, and left and right, moving those two things. So I'm going to open it up in Unity VS. Another thing that's great about Unity is that it's linked up to Microsoft Studio, so you can easily it generates a solution for you and everything. You import the package and you can load it up. So I'm going to load this player controller class, and all it's going to do is read an input from the user and transfer that into where to push the ball, forward, backward, and such. And it's also going to keep track of the score and update the UI accordingly. So this, if this ever loads, then I will switch to Visual Studio on OBS, so you're not extremely confused about what's going on. Okay, a second, I apologize. Okay, so now we're here in the script. Maybe I could zoom in and might help your eyes. 130. I guess that's good. So at the top here, we got some public variables. We got speed, which is going to be how much force is put on the ball. Score, which is a private variable because we don't want anyone supposedly changing the score. And then the two texts, which are the UI. So every time a score changes, it's going to go up 1, and you need to reflect that in the game so that the user can easily see that he has collected a collectible. And then a win text, which comes in when player wins. So Unity has these default methods called, so one of them is called start, and that's called by the Unity game engine every time the game starts up. So you would use this to initialize. So you can see how I use this start function to keep track of the score. So I set it to 0, and I set the score text, which is a method I wrote, and that just calls text, and if the score is over 13, then you win. 13 is a hard-coded number. That's how many collectibles there are. Okay, so fixed update, there's update and fixed update, and these are called every single frame. So that's how games work, that every frame, the game needs to know what you want to do. So frames happen, I think most games are 70 frames per second, so it's faster than the human eye can see. So basically when you program this, you have to think that this is going into an infinite loop of these things. So you would never put a counter here or something unless it was a timer, because it's going to get called every frame, and before you know it, you got some bugs. So fix the update. It's going to get the user it's going to get what the user is pressing every frame, and this input.getAccess. Like I said, input is a class that holds the names of all these, so you can just put in the string, and it'll give you back what key that user is pressing. So I think horizontal setup left and right on the keypad, and vertical setup front and back. Okay, so and then I got a new vector 3, and it's just going to place those two values from the user as a movement vector 3. And then this get component is going to add the force to the ball. And without further ado, I'll play the game. You guys are probably bored of me talking right now. No, that's the PowerPoint. Okay, so I'll just play the game. And like I said, forward and back is to collect things, and you can see the score goes up every time I do it. And I will. You see, I collide into a wall, and it'll kick me back. The physics game has taken care of most of this. And when it comes up, I win. So I couldn't get into everything I wanted to, but if you ever want to know more about Unity, like I said, there's plenty of documentation online, and it's really fun thing to learn. And playing games is even more fun. So that's all I have. We'll wrap it up. Thank you for listening, and see you all in class.